to take a few more comments from the audience, and then we wrap up. Gentlemen over here, and then we go up there, and then there, and then we're done.
As a citizen, I suppose, I compliment the organisers. It's fantastic to get a good idea together, and their reform.ie are brilliant. The real question here is about trust. We've listened to the politicians for years talking about doing things, and we've listened to the poor people. They've had a renewed interest in government reform. They've done nothing for the last 14 years. The Green Party, all about green, yet our waters are polluted. The Fine Gael and Labour, who will be in our next government, talk about reform. But will they deliver? And I think this election is all about trust. Will the parties sign up to go back to the people within 2 years? Because if they are elected with a majority that is forecast, either singly or together, they would be in power for the next 5 years. And we know what will happen in this country within the next 5 years. It will be forgotten, and reform will not happen. This is the only time we're going to get, in my lifetime, for proper reform. So will the parties say that if they do not meet their targets of the reform that both Fine Gael and Labour have set out here today, will they go back to the country within 2 years and give us, the people, a voice and a say in how this country is run?
Okay, thank you. Gentleman on the back.
My name's Robert Porter. I just have a couple of observations about some of the proposals to do with electoral reform in particular. But I suppose there seems to be a kind of a lack of realisation of the emergency situation the country's in. And to get bogged down in a reform agenda after the next election is going to be a huge undertaking. What we have under the Constitution at the moment is PRS-TV. Now, we can do a lot of things to change that. And Owen O'Brien's proposals there in larger multi-seat constituencies seem to be, to me, the best idea, because that way we're going to have less of a parish pump effect, because generally they're going to be bigger constituencies and the quota is going to be a larger quota, and more people are going to have to vote for candidates, so we're not going to get the type of Gombian politics that we've seen before. So that can be done overnight. As soon as the government comes in, the next government comes in, that can be done straight away. So I think we need to really put our thinking hats on and just work with what we have. The same with Shannon reform. Any abolition of the Shannon is going to take a massive amount of organisation. We're going to have another referendum on it. And then, while all this is happening, we really need to be putting out fires in terms of the economic situation.
Okay, thanks. And gentleman up here, yeah.
Faden McMahon is my name. Declare my interest. I'm a journalist, but I edit copy at the moment. In a previous existence, I had the pleasure of sitting in one of the largest local authority areas in the country as they finalised their county development plan. And this is just about the idea that councillors have too little power and officials too much. In a 2-day meeting, I saw councillors from across the political spectrum unite to rezone land above and beyond what was being suggested by the officials. Surely that was one of the problems with our system.
Okay, thanks very much. I'm going to have to wrap it up there because we're already running over time. I know some gentlemen here are anxious to get out on the campaign trail and have other engagements, and ladies too. Can I thank you for your participation on your behalf? I'd like to thank the speakers. And just before we go, we have a final word from Johnny Ryan, who's a co-founder of reformcard.ie.
Thank you very much, Pat. Thank you. I'd like to say that what you've probably seen here today is something that's quite unusual and quite interesting in Irish politics. It's probably a sign that things are beginning to mature in this state, that parties are talking about things like constitutional reform, how the institution should operate, and clearly things have moved up a gear. And the thing that's happening outside of this room, which is also unique and very interesting, is that the internet is maturing as an infrastructure for political participation. So, as we know, promises are worth only as much as they are delivered on. And the people who make the promises are obviously behind me, but the people who can ensure delivery are in front of me. So, after the election, and we will be scorecarding the programme for government, after the election, you will find, I hope, at reformcard.com, the tools for participation that will enable you to have a real role as the public in scrutinising these promises, in making sure that they are proceeding to plan, and in seeing that they are delivered on. So what we're looking for is a number of things. First, we're looking for people who are policy savvy and who are willing to take time as a hobby or not to look at legislation, citizens' initiatives, constitutional change, and to see where it moves in the next few years, to make sure that the promises that ultimately result in the programme for government are actually delivered on. And second, we're looking for more people like Paul Dixon in the front row who are data visualizers or programmers who can build the tools we're starting to work on now at reformcard.com. I'll say this as a final point. If today you go onto reformcard.com, for anyone who hasn't already been there, not only can you simply see the scorecards, but thanks to work which we have not done, but which volunteers have done on our behalf, you will be able to dig into each score and see all the data and play with them yourselves. And what we want to make sure is that we have systems for that over the life of the government. And we invite you to help us make that happen. Again, thanks to the guests. And Pat, thank you so much. And a special thank you to Dan Pender and to my colleague, Joe Curtin. Thank you, everybody.